Sometimes the most intriguing facts aren't those that people state out. Rather, they're those that are recorded in their activities. Have you ever questioned whether the lady in your life is not just attracted to you, but secretly obsessed with you? It's not always clear. She may not tell you directly, but her actions will leave a trail of subliminal clues. The issue is that it's simple to ignore or misinterpret these clues, leaving you to speculate about her actual emotions. You might be overlooking subtle clues like the way she mimics your every action or her inability to avoid touching you. Here's the fix. Keep an eye out for signs 3 and 10, since these are when her emotions become overt and uncontrollable, allowing you to unravel her obsession. Let's take a closer look at one where she unknowingly mirrors you. It's called mirroring, and it's an unconscious method by which people establish connection and trust with a woman who is secretly obsessed. Have you ever seen her sipping her coffee as you do? Or perhaps she leans back on the couch just after you do? Mirroring becomes nearly instinctive. Let's say you're conversing informally at a business gathering and you run your hand through your hair. A moment later, she adjusts her hair in the same manner, or you notice she adopts your speech during a lunch meeting. These aren't just strange behaviors. Cadence pauses when you pause and nods when you nod. Psychologically, mirroring happens when someone is deeply attuned to you, like they're silently saying, "We're in sync, and I want you to notice." But what if she's not just mirroring you? What if she's always finding reasons to be where you are? Let's talk about that. 2. She's everywhere you happen to be. You're at your regular cafe on Tuesday morning, and there she is, casually bumping into you. Next thing you know, she's joined the same gym or picked up an interest in that obscure hobby you mentioned once in passing. These are no happy accidents. When a woman is obsessed, she'll engineer opportunities to see you. Picture this. You're at a kid's soccer game, thinking it's just another Saturday. Suddenly there she is cheering from the sidelines, even though her nephew only played soccer once 5 years ago. Or maybe you mentioned in casual conversation that you love a certain restaurant. Now she just happens to post about going there. Her obsession drives her to stay close to your orbit, and she'll find clever, almost stealthy ways to do it. She's positioning herself as a regular fixture in your life by playing the long game in a subtle way. If her timing seems too perfect, wait until you see how her eyes give her away 3 times. First, there's eye contact that feels like she's staring into your soul or remembering your face for future daydreams. If she's obsessed, her gaze will linger a beat longer than usual, and if you catch her staring, she'll either hold it or quickly look away with a faint smile. Here's how it plays out. You're at a dinner party, and every time you glance her way, she's already looking at you. Or maybe she uses any excuse to lock eyes in conversations, asking for advice, seeking your opinion, or complimenting your latest project. Her pupils might even dilate, a biological response that happens when someone is laser-focused on you. The funny thing, she doesn't realize how obvious she's being. But you do. You feel her gaze like heat on the back of your neck. She can't help it. Her eyes are doing all the confessing, her words won't. But what about when her obsession goes from visual to physical? Let's dive into the subtle art of her accidental touches. 4. She finds every excuse to touch you, a touch on the arm, a playful nudge adjusting your collar. Because it's crooked when a woman is obsessed, she'll seize any opportunity to make physical contact. No matter how small, these moments aren't random. They're deliberate moves to feel closer to you. Imagine this. You're at a casual gathering, and as you're laughing at a joke, she places her hand lightly on your shoulder, or maybe she's brushing past you in the kitchen, her hand grazing yours. The touches are fleeting, but they happen often enough to make you wonder, was that really an accident? The worst part is that these touches cause the bonding hormone oxytocin to be released, which makes her feel even more attached to you. It's like she's unintentionally feeding her own obsession. But who's complaining? If you think her touches are subtle, wait until you notice her protective streak kick in 5. She's low-key, territorial, but her actions will make it obvious that she has an obsession. If another woman is around, she will make her presence known by joining the conversation to the way she notices every little detail about you, including things you've forgotten you shared. Let's talk about that 6. Have you ever had someone remember the smallest, most trivial thing you said weeks ago, such as your favorite coffee or that one story about your high school band? You mention in passing that you like a certain 80s rock band, and a week later she surprises you with tickets to their reunion tour, or perhaps you told her your favorite order at your favorite deli, and she's bringing you lunch with exactly what you like. If she's obsessed, her mental notebook is filled with these details. She's not just listening, she's storing information like a vault picture. It's meticulous attention fueled by her incessant thoughts about you. This hyperfocus stems from a psychological phenomenon known as selective attention, which occurs when someone who is deeply infatuated prioritizes everything about the object of their affection in their brain. It's flattering and possibly a little intense, but if you think her attention to detail is impressive, wait until you see how much effort she puts into making you laugh. 7. She laughs at everything you say, even if it's not funny. We all like someone who finds us amusing, but when she's obsessed, her laughter becomes excessive. That sarcastic onliner you weren't even sure was funny, and she's cracking up the dry humor no one else gets. She's your biggest fan. Imagine you're at a dinner party telling a story you've told a dozen times, and everyone else finds it hilarious. She's crying and laughing, almost imploring you to continue. It's not that your material was poor, you're a hilarious person, but her reaction is out of the ordinary. What's taking place? This is typical behavior from someone attempting to strengthen a relationship. She laughs with you or even just for you, which releases the feel-good hormone dopamine and makes the connection appealing. Her laughter is only the beginning. Let's now examine how her obsession manifests itself in her constant communication. If she is obsessed, she will text or call you far more frequently than usual and occasionally without cause, such as, "Hey, I just saw this and thought of you" text, or random call to ask a question she could have Googled. These are her methods of keeping you in her thoughts, since you're always on hers. Here's an example from the real world. Your phone buzzes while you're at work, and it's her posting a meme about that obscure movie you mentioned once. Later, she messages you again, asking a pointless inquiry about your favorite pizza toppings. The frequency is more important than the content. This behavior is psychologically a result of her need for approval. Every reply you give reinforces her sense of connection to you, keeping her obsession alive. It's not always over the top, but it's definitely consistent, and while her communication keeps her on your radar, her next move might be even more obvious: how she always backs you up. 9. She defends you even when you're not around. Here's the thing about someone who's obsessed: they'll go to bat for you, whether you know it or not. If someone criticizes you, she's the first to jump to your defense. And if you're not in the room, she's still your most loyal advocate. For example, imagine someone at a party is poking fun at your fashion choices. Because yes, you're still rocking that leather jacket, she'll chime in saying something like, "Actually, I think it looks great on him." Or maybe a mutual friend questions one of your decisions, and she's quick to counter with how thoughtful and deliberate you are. This loyalty isn't just about kindness, it's about staking her claim in her mind. Standing up for you reinforces her role as someone who knows and values you more than anyone else. But defending your honor isn't her only move. Sometimes her obsession pushes her into something even more intriguing: curiosity about your past. 10. She's strangely curious about your past relationships. This is a classic. Here's how it goes. You're out for drinks when she abruptly turns the conversation to your love life. Perhaps she brings up an innocent question about whether you've ever been in love, Or more pointedly, about your longest relationship. If she's obsessed, she will want to know about your ex-partners, but not in a nosy way. Well, not completely. She may ask casual questions like, "So what kind of women do you usually date?" Or, "What happened with your last relationship?" Her curiosity is driven by a combination of envy and the desire to comprehend your amorous psychological makeup, which is derived from the idea of social comparison. Theoretically, she is assessing her own performance in relation to the women you've dated before and are searching for clues about what you might want in the future. Now that you've noticed these signs, the question is, what will be your next move? Trust me, she's already planning hers. If you're seeing these signs, don't ignore them. Instead, pay attention, lean in, and ask yourself what you should do. Because, let's face it, if she is this obsessed with you, the only thing left to decide is whether you will notice her or let her obsession drive you insane.